Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Command Your Social. I am Nick Baldwin. And as always, I have my amazing co-host, Jesse Newquist, with me today. Jesse, how's it going?
Hi, it's going excellent. Thank you for having me again.
It's lovely to see you as usual. You just make me smile and brighten my day.
You're welcome.
So how are things going with you? What you been up to?
So I have been working on very exciting projects that I'm not allowed to talk about yet. And
Top secret.
yeah, you're going to see the world take over soon. I don't know what else to say besides that, but it's been awesome. I've been home and learning and reading for like 8 weeks now. And it's been amazing.
Well, while you are taking over the world, our guest is taking over YouTube. You like what I did there?
Great job.
Thank you. I'm proud of myself. Our guest is taking over YouTube. His name is Ken Pozek, and he's a realtor at Keller Williams down in Orlando, Florida. And his YouTube channel has over 2 million, almost 2.5 million views all over the world. And I think about 18% of his business last year came directly from YouTube, with over 1 million in GCI from organic reach. So Ken, it's an honor to have you on Command Your Social.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you having me on.
No problem. I love those numbers. That only correlates to your dedication and consistency, which if you're consistent with something, it's going to pay off. Jesse, say hi to Ken.
Hi, Ken. I'm so glad you're here. Really, I've known you from afar for a long time, and I've admired your work, and so I'm just psyched to meet you.
Thanks. Appreciate you hanging out.
Ken, let's just dive right into it. We haven't talked about YouTube yet on the show, and I feel it's one of those platforms. Well, it's, obviously for creatives, and most of us are just not very creative. So what made you decide, or when did you decide that YouTube was going to be the platform for you?
So I had a good friend of mine up in Jacksonville, and after I'd relocated to Orlando, trying to find out what could I do to start over my business that didn't cost me a ton of money, because I had tried. When I moved here, I was like, how can I grow a big business really fast? So I tried Zillow, and I tried radio ads, and tried all these kind of things. And this friend in Jacksonville was like, hey, I've been doing this YouTube thing for the past couple of years and got like 800 subscribers. And people call me every once in a while from this. And I'm really just going around doing like tours of model homes. And it's not overly hard. Like anybody could kind of figure it out. I'm like, no kidding. So I'm going to try this. So I went and I shot 100 videos in 100 days, just selfie style on my cell phone, edited it myself on iMovie, threw them up on YouTube. And it took me like almost 3 months to get my first call. And they were just terrible videos, to be quite honest. They were just constantly getting 10 views. There was really no, nothing that was like any inkling of hope. But eventually somebody called and said, hey, I found you on YouTube. We're looking to move to Orlando. We really like this model at this specific builder. Could you help us out? Heck yeah. So I put them under contract. I'm like, I'm on to something here. Like it can work, could probably get better, and go from there. So we started figuring out the algorithm and why YouTube works and why it doesn't work. And fast forward today, we actually have like 3.2 million views, 22,000 subscribers. Last year we did 1.4 million in GCI, and it's a good point from YouTube. And it's amazing. People reach out and they feel like they already know, like, and trust you. And so it's just a cool platform that really changes everything that you do in this business.
I just have a quick follow-up question, Jesse. I'm sorry. I just want to follow up on this because I'm going to forget. You did 100 videos in 100 days. Was that something that you set out to do, or did it just kind of happen?
I was just like, I didn't start and say like, I'm going to do 100 videos in 100 days. It was like, I just need to put out a ton of content and see what works. Because at the time, this was like 4 years ago, there were not as many agents that weren't like the celebrity agents trying YouTube. And so I didn't know who else to like copy. So I'm like, I'm just going to keep trying stuff until it works. And then lo and behold, it started working.
I have to know what was your first video? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was just like I picked a luxury neighborhood here that was a new construction neighborhood, and I walked into the sales model and like, hey, I wanted to shoot a video for my YouTube channel on real estate. Can I just do a tour of the video or of the house? She's like, yeah, of course. Like at the time, this is 4 years ago, before the market was like really humming, and she was just like, please, bring me buyers. And so yeah, and then I was like, okay, so this builder said yes. Other builders are going to say yes. So I did like the first 100 videos were all just builder model tours.
And how did you, because you said, your videos were getting like 5 views, 10 views, you're doing 100 videos in 100 days. How did you keep yourself motivated? Because we all know that most agents will try something a few times and quit and be like, this isn't working. You're like, what kept you going?
I think it was the fact that I was shooting these super hyper local videos. And in my mind, I was like, even if they only got 10 or 20 views, those people are pretty high intention viewers, right? You're not going to watch a model home tour in my little hometown or, backwoods Orlando, in this new area, if you weren't kind of interested. And I'm like, how long would it take me to get in front of 20 people? And I would rather shoot one video and have 20 people watch it than cold call 20 people. And so to me, that made sense. And so now, like fast forward to today, I pulled our analytics this morning. We had 157,000 watch hours last month.
Wow.
So how long would it take me to get in front of that many people, cold call that many people?
Crazy. Yeah.
It's insane, right? So, so to me, like that's how I started. And then it's just consistently gotten better and better in regards to the viewers and motivation.
Can you give us a little bit more of an insight into those analytics? Because I love your attitude around, listen, it may only be 10 views, but those are 10 people, right? It may only be 20 views, but those are 20 people who are sitting down to watch. So what does your analytics look like in terms of watch time of each video?
Yeah. So it's, so I've got it in front of me. I said it was 157,000 watch hours. It's actually 157,000 views last month. 13,000 watch hours. So I don't think about break that down. Like how many 24/7, those are rolling, right? People are watching these all the time while I'm sleeping. They're watching my videos. We figured out, because Google Analytics will tell you where people are watching from. We had over 37 countries tune in. And it's like, it took me an hour and a half to shoot the video. My editors take care of it now. I don't edit myself. But it's pretty simple. Like I shoot it once and it lives on forever, evergreen, which is really why I love YouTube, because it's evergreen. It's not like TikTok where you put out one video and then that gets lost in the algorithm and nobody ever sees it again. People are intentionally searching Google and or YouTube for information. And if your video is 5 years old, it's going to come up and you're going to get found and potentially have an opportunity to earn a client.
Like more of an encyclopedia. Just it'll live there, and that's information that'll live there forever, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we talk about content creation strategy? What's your, do you have a team that helps you? What's the process around your content creation?
Yeah. So now we don't do builder tours anymore. One of the videos that I did that really took off was the top 10 things about Celebration, Florida that you didn't know. And so I just literally walked around.
That's one of my favorite videos, by the way.
Thank you. And yeah, I was like,
that's the one that I show when I'm teaching and I talk about video. I show that one, the 10 things about Celebration, Florida.
It's something anybody can do.
Yeah. And you just do it with your iPhone, and it's so simple and there's so much information.
Yeah. And so that one got 20, 30,000 views in the first month. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm on to something. Now it's got 147,000 views, and we still get leads from a video that I shot 3.5 years ago today. And so, so now it was like, okay, I need to get more intentional around what people are actually searching for. So it was like figuring out, moving to Orlando, moving to Winter Garden, Windermere, like all of the suburbs around our area, the top 5 things you didn't know about, the top 3 things you need to know about, like all of those sort of things are really eye-catching. And so that's kind of our strategy now. We did a video because I was reading. I'm like a huge, I literally have time block in my schedule every week to go through news articles about Orlando. And if I think it's going to have a big enough reach, we shoot a video around it. And we use a program called Morning Fame to figure out how much traffic might be behind that search term. And so like for a really good example. So U-Haul had a study and they put out all these articles about where the #1 place trucks were going to on a one-way destination in the entire country. Happened to be Kissimmee, Florida, which is the town right next to Orlando. I'm like, shoot, I'll go there, average $400,000 sale. I'll sell as many homes there as I want to. All right. So we did a video on that specifically about this article that came out and why people are moving to Kissimmee. It got 27,000 views I put it out on Tuesday.
Recently?
Yeah, that just happened. So,
wow.
So on you put this video out on Tuesday and it's already had almost 30,000 views.
Yeah. 5 days ago, it's got 25,000 and some change views.
Holy smokes, dude.
Crazy.
So obviously, people are moving to that area. There's a reason. And other people are probably thinking, yeah, right. So
this podcast is brought to you by U-Haul.
By U-Haul, yeah, exactly. So that's kind of the idea, is like shooting content that I know the client, the potential client is going to want to watch, instead of what most agents do, which is, I'm going to do this luxury home tour and talk about how amazing I am and try to look like an HGTV star for the optics. Like nobody cares. You are not famous, and people aren't seeking out to watch another HGTV show unless you are famous. And so,
Ken,
so
you're
that's
probably
what we
going
have
to
to
get
do.
your own show one day.
Dude, I hope so. So anyways, So going back to our content creation strategy, it's finding stuff that I think people are going to search for. We start with the title first and foremost. Make sure it's a searchable title. Then I actually think about the thumbnail next, which is totally backwards to what most people do. They come up with the thumbnail way after they've already shot and that kind of thing. But I think what are the visuals that I need to capture in this video and the thumbnail that I'm going to create, and then based on the title and the thumbnail, we go shoot the video.
Can I tell you something? I can tell in preparing for this, to meet you today, just the first thing that I noticed, again, having visited your YouTube page, probably sometime in the last year, for teaching, the same as Nick, I noticed that it was so grabby. Everything from the beginning was grabby, the title and the thumbnail and the picture behind it. And I saw a tornado too. Like there was some controversy in there. Like it was very, very grabby from the get-go. So that's very interesting. I can tell that's your process. Sure.
Yeah. Yep. So the thumbnail is, I think, so the title gets you found, gets you thrown into the algorithm, but the thumbnail is what people click on to figure out if they're going to watch the video, right? And so you can create the most amazing, eye-catching, value-driven video that you're so proud of, but if nobody clicks on the video, you're not going to get found. And so,
are you saying that people are judging your cover video? They're judging your video by the cover,
just like 100%.
A book,
just 100%. Like a book? Yeah, 100%.
As humans do.
Yes. I always choose. There's two things that I choose. I choose what book I'm going to read based on the cover. No, I'm just kidding. I choose what wine I'm going to drink based on the label. No,
by the label, exactly.
Sure.
So you did a video once about the best pizza in Orlando, and that one turned out to be very controversial, Ken. Very controversial. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about how you came up with that and how that went?
I mean, it was just like, okay, what else are people searching for? And so I started getting into like the Google analytics around traffic, and lo and behold, people come here to Florida and they're like, I don't know where to eat. So the best coffee, the best burger, the best pizza. And then funny enough, though, you start posting those, like I'll grab the link and throw it in like a Facebook group or something like that. And people will rip me apart, which is totally fine. They're like, oh my God, that pizza's the worst. Or like you totally or off the mark or what. I don't care though. I'm looking for engagement.
Of course. So, it's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. And then they get into our ecosystem, they hit subscribe, and then we stay with them forever. So
I love it.
That's our goal.
Then you did a video where it was kind of like mean tweets on Jimmy Kimmel, but you read comments from your videos, and some of them were kind of mean, or not mean, but the ones who are hating on your pizza video. I think that that's so fun because then you're really engaging with your audience. And if you're getting a lot of comments, you're going to get people who are kind of jerks, and you got to make light of it. I think that was brilliant, actually.
Yeah. And those ones don't get a ton of views, right? I mean, like they're really for the fans of the channel more than anything, right? People aren't searching out mean tweets for me to read them, but the people that are subscribers, they all watch those ones in force, and then they're commenting. And a lot of this becomes your community, right? And you're trying to build this community that nobody else can kind of take away from you. And that's one of the brilliant things about YouTube and building an asset like having a subscriber base, is that like yes, algorithms change. Yes, Google is a business and they can change, but for the most part, it's been kind of the same for the past 15 years. And so like, whereas Zillow is like, hey, we've got more demand in that area, we're going to charge you 3 times as much for the leads. Or, something else changes and we decided we're not working with agents anymore, we're going to go on a referral fee basis, or iBuyers and all these kind of things. They can disintermediate the agent. Whereas if you own something, you own a subscriber base, you own a community, you have this like tangible asset that people can't take away from you. And I think that's just a really powerful thing.
Mm-hmm. You seem, you've always seemed comfortable and confident on screen. Were you always?
No, not at all. I mean, I've probably hid my first 40-ish videos because they were so bad at this point.
Unhide them.
No.
Show them to the world.
Yeah, you can still go back though 4 or 5 years ago, and I was heavier and not as confident. But no, I think it's just like anything. The example I love to give is that the first time you did an open house, you were awkward. You were not great in person, right? People walked in the door and you were like, hey, check out the bathroom. And you were like either very excited or you hid in the corner. One of the two happened. You too early asked them if they had an agent and can you sign my little sheet? But eventually you did more and more and you got better. And then all of a sudden it's a machine, right? Now, all of a sudden, if you were doing it more consistently, they were great lead gen stuff. The same thing with video, right? The more you do, the more you get, the more you're better. And so then from there it becomes kind of like this fine tuning machine of like, how can I make sure that my hook is really good and watch time is really good and our editing is better? And that's another thing that I really enjoy, is just kind of refining the process.
So let's just go back because, many of the agents or entrepreneurs listening to this podcast, they don't, they may not be at the point where, because now you have a whole media team and you have a whole video crew and an editor and all those things. And it took a long time to get there. I just want people to realize like it took Ken like years and years to get there, years of consistency, years of using your iPhone, right?
Yeah.
So when you were doing this on your own at first with your iPhone, what apps were you using that to edit and to add titles and what can people and where can they find them and how can people use those?
Yeah. So if you have a Mac, I mean, I was just using the free version of iMovie, and I would just import from my iPhone onto iMovie, do the little lower thirds. I would use Epidemic Sound for royalty-free music, which cost me like $9 or $12 a month, I think is what it was. And that was it, man. Thumbnails I've always used. I was using Canva for a really long time. Now I use PicMonkey. And they have the cool thing about it. Like if we talked about thumbnails and the importance there. And if you're not a designer and you're like, I don't really know how that stuff works. They actually have templates that are really easy. You just literally drag and drop and they're already pre-formatted for the size that you need for YouTube. And so really starting out, it was iMovie, Epidemic Sound, and PicMonkey are the 3 that I would use. Yeah. Beyond that, Morning Fame is kind of like my planning tool. So like, hey, is there enough traffic behind this for me to warrant a video? And then TubeBuddy, I like to call my Monday morning quarterback. So TubeBuddy goes through and says, they help me A/B test my thumbnails. They help you, hey, you forgot these tags. They give you suggestions that you can improve. Because that's the other thing is once you post a YouTube video, you can actually go back and improve. You can change the thumbnail, you can change the title. You don't have to re-upload. You can constantly kind of refine until that traffic starts picking up. And so those are the 2 other tools that I use right now.
And a lot of people seem to forget that YouTube is owned by Google. So does your video title have anything to do with how easily your video can be found? Like, should you word it as if it's like some sort of search terms, like, let's just the easiest example possible, homes for sale in such and such town, or, things about places to go in Celebration, do those titles help?
Yeah. I mean, titles are everything. So titles in the first 200 characters of your description signal they signal to Google what your video is about. And then what happens is it's live play. So you go live and then it serves it up to a certain amount of people that are searching those similar terms. And if people click on it and then watch it, right? So if people click on it and then they have actually watched 2, 3, 4 minutes of your 8-minute long video, then it'll say, okay, great. It did a good job. I'm going to serve this up to more people that are also looking for this. And then it continues to build and build from there. If you show up on the home page, obviously, or someone's page on their app, that obviously is gold. That's what you're going for. And that's just Google saying that your video is worth it. People that have seen it, click on it. People that click on it, watch it. And that's sort of that all starts with the title and the description.
Super interesting. I noticed that you don't have ads on your videos. Is that accurate?
Just literally the past 2 months now have turned ads on.
You turned ads on? Okay.
Yeah. You could do it. So,
well, my question was, do you think that by turning the ads on, you'll get more, it'll be pushed in front of more people because the ads are on there?
I was nervous that a few things would happen. Like, so for those of you who don't know, like to get monetized on YouTube, to earn money from your views, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time, which I've had for years. And I was always nervous to turn it on because I was afraid that like other agents would show up before my content. And I'm like, if I lose one person to another agent, it's not worth the money that I'd be making. So I've now turned on ads because I'm like, you know what, I'm getting too many views to not monetize this and have this, offset sort of our media company. And so we turned ads on and like nothing changed. Like I just started making money, and like views have been the same, click through, watch time, all of that. And so for us, it's been exactly the same in terms of growth, having ads on. And now I can make, anywhere between $1,000 and $2,000 a month from my views. And that helps us offset our content.
And yeah, right. And it can also help you with paying for your media team.
That's what I mean. Yeah, exactly. So now my videographer is almost zero based.
Right.
And now it just takes time and me showing up.
At what point did you get to, what was the point that you got to where you're like, I need to hire a videographer? Like, what was that point for you?
That's a great question. So I did probably, I don't know, somewhere 120 videos myself with my camera, editing, all myself. And then eventually I did the whole lead with revenue thing, which we all should do, was that I had some closings. And so now I'm going to hire an editor. I'm going to still shoot myself, still do all that stuff, but I'm not good at the editing. iMovie is just not cutting it for me if I really want to go to the next level. So I went on Upwork and I found some lady in Nebraska for like $80 a video. And I just sent her all the stuff via Dropbox, and she sent it back to me a few days later, and the quality went up. And then after we started closing, I think we closed another 20 or 30 deals. I'm like, all right, now it's time to bring on like a videographer that's also an editor. And so I struck a deal with them. I said, listen, I don't want you working with other realtors. He's already like an architectural photographer / he's doing other stuff. I don't want you to work with other realtors. I'm going to go all in with you, and I'm going to commit to a year's worth of content. And now I want to do 2 videos a week with you. And I'm promising you that whether I show up or not, I'm going to be paying you. And so I want a little bit of a cut rate on that, because you're going to have consistent work for me for the next year. And he bought in really well, and he's still with me today.
That is awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. And you made me think of another question, because
I do have a question. You
have a question. Sorry,
you wrote it down.
Go ask.
Around the formula, like how many times do you upload videos per week?
So at this
how did you know that was going to be the question I was going to ask?
Because you bolded it on the Google Doc. Dude.
Oh, because I wrote it down and it's on the Google Doc. Because well, Ken's comment about 2 videos a week made me think, wait, is there a formula to that? So thank you for reading my mind.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So Google rewards you on consistency and watch time. Like your channel, the more watch time you get, the more you can keep people on the platform, the more it likes you and will push you out more. So I think that when you start out, you need to put out a video a week. I don't think 2 a month is enough. I think 1 a week's the minimum. And then it becomes, okay, great. Now you have this machine going, and can you push it a little bit farther? So we added a 2nd video a week. So now what I do is we still shoot 2 videos a week, because sometimes people get sick, sometimes people are out of town, and I want to batch shoot content for the future. And then, but every other week I go live on my YouTube channel. Like tomorrow I'm going live. I've got a mortgage guy I'm bringing on. I'm talking about, typically the format for the live is the first 15 minutes. I talk about the news in Orlando, just like, here's the new developments, the new restaurants, the new whatever. And then I do Q&A for like 30 or 40 minutes. And the past month or so, I've had like consistently over 200 people watch live, which is like, think about that as an agent, trying to get 200 people in a room.
Yeah.
I know.
And
I've
talk about
watched
real
those
estate.
lives. I've watched those lives. I can't believe you have that many people watching, and people are super engaging. Like they just comment. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah. And so it's 30 or 40 minutes of back and forth Q&A. And then we wrap, and then that becomes the video for the week or for the weekend. And those typically get 3,000 to 6,000 views within the next week. And so, it's good relevant content that people engage with. So yeah, that's our consistent schedule. Tuesday mornings, we do a static post, and then every other week is a Saturday. And then in between those is another static post.
So my biggest takeaway from this was, because one of my biggest questions when it comes to making videos is, how do you come up with content? And I think my biggest takeaway was Morning Fame, the website Morning Fame. Go and look and see what's trending, right? And then look and see what's trending in your area too.
Yeah.
Just like you found out that U-Haul did this study and people were driving one way to Kissimmee, and you made that Kissimmee video 5 days ago and it blew up to 30,000 views already. I mean, that is such valuable information if you're struggling with what to talk about on a video. That is like right there, the best nugget
So valuable.
I've heard.
And if I still have my team leader hat on, the tools you mentioned in addition to that were TubeBuddy, PicMonkey, and Epidemic Sound. Like free or close to free tools that we can give out to help our agents get started. That's like, it's super invaluable.
Well, also there's another platform that I really love called WeVideo. And it's super simple and it's next to free, and they have free royalty free songs in there as well, and that's really easy to use. There's a lot of sound ones out there that are fantastic. YouTube actually has a free catalog. You can go in there, like if you want jazz or you want, whatever kind of Mediterranean, whatever kind of music that you might want. The reason I love Epidemic Sound is you can literally sort it by beats per minute. So I can say, I'm looking for like rock beats per minute, melody. Like you can kind of like pick a bunch of these things, and it gives you like, here's 100 songs you can use. It's really good.
That's great.
I've got one final question, then we'll let you go, Ken. If an agent wants to get started with video and they're nervous, are there any sort of exercises or experiments that they can do to kind of like get, loosened up?
Loosened up. I drink a lot of coffee beforehand, and then I'm jazzed. No, I think, it's going live on Instagram, going live on Facebook, or even just doing stories on Instagram will get you so much further. And remember, like, even if you have 1,000 followers on Instagram, only 100 of them are actually going to even see your story. And so you might as well put it out, and it's gone in 24 hours. So who cares? Right. I mean, you're not going to get nervous having coffee with somebody. So why would you get nervous talking about like this new listing that you got? And so I would say that just do as much of that as you can. Go on, get your face on video, get comfortable as quick as and often as possible on like an Instagram or Facebook. And then that way, when you get in front of a camera, you're not going to freeze when you see the red light turn on. That's my number one tip, just to sort of get over the thing. The other piece I would say is like, I get way less nervous when I'm speaking in front of people or look in front of a camera when I'm talking about something that I'm educated on. So if you don't know what you're talking about, you really get nervous. You get in your head about like, oh, how do I sound? Is this coming across right? So just prepare, like go really, like, it sounds like so simple to say, but like if you're doing a video, you don't need to have it scripted. I typically I write an outline for every video. It's intro, 4 to 5 points, outro. And those 4 to 5 points are just like memory joggers of like the next thing I'm going to talk about. But I've already done so much research on those 4 or 5 points that I can just talk about it like I talk about it to a friend. And so I think that those two tips right there are going to help you get way more comfortable in front of a camera.
And don't worry, it took Ken years to be this calm, cool, and collected, and just so like just slick and dreamy. It took him years to get to this level.
It's true.
So don't worry. Don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry.
You'll get there. You'll get there. Well, listen, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to Command Your Social. This has been one of my favorite episodes because YouTube is just so elusive to so many people. Because it's, like I said in the beginning, it's all about creativity. And most of us just don't have a creative brain in our heads. But no, I'm just kidding. But I think there were so many takeaways, Jesse. I mean, I have so many notes. It's unbelievable. I know that you do too.
Yes, I do. I'll share them.
Ken, thank you so much for being here. And listen, if you enjoyed what you were listening to, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and give us a like. Go ahead and leave a review. Listen to the other episodes. Support the podcast, the little podcast,
and
that
support
could.
Ken too. His content is great. People.
Oh
that
yeah,
are
and
not,
you can go.
People
So
that
you
are
can go.
that are
You can
not
go.
moving to
Yeah.
the Orlando area follow
Yeah.
Ken for his content, and so go
Ken
check it out.
loves it when agents follow his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
He loves it.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't lie to people. Follow me on Instagram.
No, follow him on Instagram instead. He's got some great stuff coming out. You're going to really enjoy it. Well, Ken, thank you so much. Have an amazing day. Jesse, I'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.